All right, everybody, we're getting everything set up. Yes, sir. Getting everything set up. I'm live streaming on Kick on my main YouTube channel, and now we are live streaming on the second YouTube channel where we're doing our geopolitics. The reason that I'm doing it on this main channel is because for obvious reasons. So let me grab. Let me turn on this air really quick so it don't get too hot in here. And in about 4 or 5 minutes, we will start in today's topic. I know it is very, very early. On out in the United States right now. So I will give you guys the link because at some point we'll completely swap over to the other stream. And we'll go over our news topics today. So this is the link to the second channel for you guys to watch the stream there. I would appreciate if you went over there to watch there as well. And then we will then go in depth today about the Somali fraud is now being linked to Kenya, which explains a lot of stuff that I've been saying. And we're going to go over the Iranian revolution that is happening that will change the world and change that region of politics as well. And it looks like it's going to be on the American side. And then we're going to do an update on Mr. Maduro that has been captured from Venezuela and is being sentenced to prison time in the United States. So if you guys are interested, make sure you give the video a like. We'll get to starting here in a second. One moment. Well, duh, lots of Somalis live in Kenya. I mean, that doesn't explain that. I mean, that's a very shallow explanation of why that may be happening, but we'll get into why that is. So first off, we'll start off with the Somalis, okay? So if you guys don't know, the Somalis have been exposed for running a several billion-dollar fraud scandal of running daycares that have no children, daycares that are taking government funds, right, just to actually fund these people's lifestyle. And these Somali immigrants are mainly refugees, and usually refugees don't go through the same amount of screening that if a Nigerian or a Kenyan wanted to come to the United States, meaning that they had to have a certain amount of money in their bank account. They got to have an English test. They got to pay a fee and go through all this stuff just to be admitted into the United States. But for refugees such as Somalis, Ukrainians, those people that are fleeing wars, that sit in refugee camps before they actually come to the United States, they do go through some sort of screening, but a very, very, very minimal amount of screening, which is the reason why you have a lot of people that do not speak English, which is the reason why in that area of Minnesota, some signs are written in Somali rather than English, because English is the official language of the United States. That is a language that you are required to know to go to school, to read signs walking down the street. I mean, everything for obvious reasons. That is the required language in the United States. Okay. And again, these people were essentially setting up fake daycares and not really being too low key about it, like driving really expensive cars. They didn't even have enough, according to what we've been seeing, they didn't even have enough sense to even put a few kids in there. And they got video footage of them showing giving kickbacks to parents that were lying about students being in the daycare center. It's not even really that covered up from what we could see. It was just one of those things that nobody really either was saying anything about or they didn't know what was going on. But now that you see it, it's unfolding. And then you also see a lot of Somalis on the internet pretty much bragging about it, right? Which is making it even worse. Okay, so I'll get back to y'all comments in a minute. And so if you guys don't remember, in the last couple videos and live streams and community posts and Instagram posts that I've been putting up, I've been talking about the buildings in Kenya collapsing, right? We've had 3 buildings from what I've seen that have collapsed in Nairobi, Kenya, since the week before I left, and I've been here about 2 weeks now. 3 buildings have collapsed. And I was saying that was going to happen last year. And then I was saying for many months last year, why the hell are there so many empty buildings? And they're putting up more and more buildings as if they are being filled when they're not. And we have some very shallow thinking that said, hey, they're preparing for the boom. The UN is coming there. Listen, for people that are in Kenya, you know damn well the amount of empty apartments that can fit everybody that works in the UN probably 100 times. There's a lot of apartments in Nairobi, Kenya that are not occupied. Most of them being maximum under 40%. And so I was like, why would they keep building? I never did any investigations, but why would they keep building apartments before they even finish them? Before they even get 60%, 50% of capacity, why would they even do that? And so it turns out we have new information that a lot of that money that was being sent, this is very ironic, a lot of that money that was being stolen, so-called through the daycares, was ending up in Kenya. And they even said Kenyan real estate, to be specific. And so that made me immediately say, oh, that's why the buildings are empty. And that's why they're empty, and that's why they're building them in such a quality where they collapse while they're being built. Like, take that into consideration. The building is being built and it's falling apart. And so when you connect it to fraud and let's say stolen or money that they're trying to wash, why would you give a damn about the construction quality of the building? Why would you give a damn if people actually live in the building? It's not meant for anybody to live in the first place. So for everybody that can see this, this says U.S. federal authorities uncover $32.3 billion Kenyan shillings in fraud in Minnesota state programs with stolen funds allegedly laundered into Kenya's real estate sector. So they've started investigating even further into this matter, and we'll do a direct conversion of that 32.3 billion Kenyan shillings. I didn't add enough zeros. Is about 25 million US dollars, which it does sound about the right amount of money to build those apartments that are sitting empty. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can leave a comment below. and it will continue. And so, a few of my friends and I have always said that, hey, don't you guys know about the Great? This is before I knew that some of these buildings were fraudulently attained. Oh, not to mention that they're saying that the United States is going to go seize some of these assets, these real estate assets that have been purchased and built or somewhat built in Kenya. And that is going to raise a lot of questions of what is that going to what would the outcome of that be with them seizing those properties? And I will let you guys tell me in the comments below. And I've been telling some people, hey, during the Great Depression, the reason the Great Depression happened was because of a oversupply and underconsumption. That was one of the reasons why the United States stock market collapsed. Okay, that was one reason why, meaning that they were building too many things, too many products, and not enough people were buying them. Okay, and so I always said with the housing market in Kenya, why do the hell do they keep building stuff if nobody's filling it up the way how it should be? And a lot of people were saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just an American foreigner. I need to shut up. But I said, this is how stuff crashes. And so now a lot of people are saying what I was saying in 2025. This could lead to a real estate collapse because you will have a bunch of I've even compared it to ghost towns in China. A bunch of stuff sitting around not being used. And those ghost towns in China are known to have collapsing, right? And they say the cement is so weak in those Chinese ghost towns that they have in China that you could just walk up and punch one of the pillars or the foundation or the part that holds it up, foundation, right? You could punch that and you could punch through the cement, meaning that if a tiny earthquake comes through, they're not that weak in Kenya. That's crazy, but they're not that weak. But if a tiny earthquake shakes that part of the world for whatever reason, we could say, oh, the earthquakes don't happen there, but it's possible. You guys remember there was an earthquake that happened in Myanmar, and it was making the pool in Bangkok, on a rooftop pool, the water was falling off of the roof because it was shaking so hard. And so if these are cheaply made buildings, they're damn sure not designed to resist earthquake shakes. They're not designed to sway back and forth like that, like most buildings would. Which means that if there is an earthquake or some sort of I said it was one of the reasons, dude. And if one of those shakes comes through, eventually it's not going to sway. It'll just fall straight down like any other thing would. Now, somebody seems to have a critique that is incorrect. Yeah, let me pause for a second. I do need to turn on the bot thing. I forgot, how do you turn on subscriber only mode? And then we'll get back into the topic. Yeah, I have moderators, but there's too many bot messages. It's something that I have to do. So there we go. Subscribers only. Okay, that should stop the bots right there. Now, so for anybody that has been to high school, they even told you that the reason, one of the reasons, not the reason, that's like saying the reason the Civil War was fought was because of slavery. That was one of the reasons. One of the reasons that the Great Depression happened was because of oversupply, underconsumption. Pretty much common sense. I mean, if you want to sell birthday cakes and it's your first day at a business, why the hell would you bake 2,000 cakes before you know how many people are gonna buy the cakes? Common sense. So I thought that was strange whenever we were looking at the fraud that was going on, and not fraud, but the way how the buildings were being built in Kenya. I'm like, why are there so many? So now the feeding of our future cases, the origins of the scheme was between 2020 and 2022. A Minnesota-based nonprofit called Feeding Our Future and affiliated companies falsely claimed to provide meals to children during the COVID-19 pandemic. And prosecutors say that the conspirators stole more than 300 million US dollars in federal child nutrition funds. And the US federal authorities have charged over 90 defendants, many of them Somali origin, of course, because we know some Americans had to be involved as well, in what they call the nation's largest pandemic-related fraud. Now, there are some people saying that this is racism and that nobody, like people are just targeting Somalis based off of race, which is great that, you know, they get to see what it's like to be racially profiled now, because that's something that we've always been through. And, you know, a lot of immigrants, not just Somalis, come to United States, especially African immigrants, and talk shit about Black Americans and call us lazy and say it's our fault that these things happen. And now it's happening to them. So the fact that since 2022, they've charged over 90 defendants does not mean that it's a racism thing. That means something must really be happening for them to charge. They don't charge people based off of racism. They charge people based off of crime, at least in today's day. And maybe during Jim Crow was different. So in December 2025, the first U.S. attorney, Joe Thompson, said that half of the roughly 18 billion US dollars that has supported the 14 Minnesota run program since 2018 may have been stolen through multi-layered fraud schemes, which means around $9 billion, they assume. And they said these fraudulent companies billed for non-existent services and used the money for luxury cars, travel, and real estate. And I just came across a post recently where they were saying that one of the people that were involved in this, and this was in 2024 when they caught him, so this has been going on for a while with them catching them, was in Kenya flaunting his money online and renting a Lamborghini that cost $2,000 per day. So that is how much extra money that they had, which is why this is such a big deal. And again, this is not to target anybody based off of race. This is just us doing an overview of what's going on. Now, they say that 82 of the 92 defendants in the nutrition, housing, and autism service schemes are Somali Americans, meaning that they're Americans, U.S. citizens that are of Somali descent. And some of these defendants paid kickbacks to recruit Somali families into programs and then overbuild the Medicaid, something that you see in the military-industrial complex as well. Despite speculation that funds supported militant groups like Al-Shabaab is what they're talking about, prosecutors emphasize that there is no evidence that the defendants supported terrorist organizations like Al-Shabaab. So I'll let you guys decide on that. You know, I don't really care if they sent the money there or not. You know, I'm just reporting the news. So, however, investigators found that large sums were moved abroad. One defendant texted that he had invested $6 million US dollars in Kenya. These properties that they bought from earlier indictments revealed that Ahmed Naji Malim Afdin Sheikh, I believe is how you pronounce it, which was a Kenyan national and a brother of the ringleader Abdiaziz Farah, helped launder stolen funds by purchasing an apartment in South Sea, Nairobi, which is the area that one of those buildings just collapsed, and a parcel of land in Maduro. The prosecutors allege he smuggled bulk cash and wired millions from U.S. accounts. And as of September 2025, indictment described text messages in which the conspirators discuss moving literal boxes of cash and investing in Kenyan real estate. Investigative reporting notes that Kenyan real estate sector has lax regulation, as we already know, and that lawyers and agents often do not verify the source of funds. Of course not. This makes Nairobi attractive to those seeking to launder money. Okay, didn't know that. According to the Kenya Wall Street, Somali financial networks allow anonymous transfers and facilitate foreign investments. Some of the fraud proceeds were allegedly channeled through these networks to purchase high-rise apartments that are now collapsing. So that is the update so far on the entire situation. Now, let's do some caution against scapegoating. There was a guest column in Daily Nation that argued that Nairobi's building boom began in the early 2000s and was primarily fueled by local capital and state-enabled accumulation. While illegal proceeds from the United States fraud were invested in Kenya, the column notes that the domestic corruption is far more significant at around 350 billion Kenyan shillings annually. Singling out Somalis can therefore unfairly stigmatize a community and distract from systemic governance problems. Take that as you want. In addition to nutrition programs, U.S. authorities are investigating housing and autism service scams. One program intended to help adults with disabilities live independently and has paid out 180 million US dollars and is suspected of being abused. Authorities served search warrants in late 2025 and continue to pursue fugitives. So basically, it seems like they're going to dig as deep as they can into this entire situation. And it seems that there will be a lot of people that were involved in this that will be locked up. So not only are some of these people coming to the United States trying to shit on us, but they are also taking the money and sending it back to Kenya, as stated. Okay, so we still got bots on the other channel. So OnLife says, the truth is that the real estate boom is more pioneered by most non-Somalis, not discounting the corrupt cases of some Somalis. I mean, that sounds like what I just said. The real estate boom in Kenya started organically in the 2000s when the government encouraged small business to grow and build up on the infrastructure. Some Kenyans might take issue with you reporting on this. Hey, everybody has a problem with everything. So fuck it. You damned if you do, damned if you don't. And hey, this is not directed towards Kenyans. This is about Somalis that have been fun of the money. I mean, hell, I didn't come up with this. This is Nairobi Gossip Club. That's a Kenyan company. Go talk with them, not me. Dave, if you don't want us to talk about it, don't report it. Now, I'm going to pull up a few videos here in just a second to dig deeper into this situation, and then we'll go over the protests that are going on in Iran and how that is going to change. How actually Iran might, I don't know how it's going to change as soon as the Chinese and present government took hold of the real estate landscape. I mean, I guess, man, I guess. So if anybody has any comments so far on this topic, leave a comment below and we'll continue. Are your folks in Nairobi worried about the building that, I mean, everybody I know that's living in Nairobi that has seen what has happened in the past 2 weeks it's something to logically be paranoid about. Right? Even when people are telling me, even when the electricity goes out, the first thing that they thinking is, and I know that has nothing to do with the building collapsing, but it's basically any issue that happens, they're thinking, damn, is my building gonna be next? Now, if no other buildings collapse in 2 or 3 weeks, then maybe that was just a hell of a coincidence, and maybe it won't happen again or not happen for a while. But again, I have a place that I still rent in Kenya, and I am like a little worried that whenever I do go back, God forbid, I don't want to be in a collapsing building. That is a very serious, like I said before, a collapsing building is like guaranteed death, and then they probably won't find your body for days. That is a very serious risk. The money laundering is real. I'm just saying it started off organically. I mean, of course it did. Of course it started off organically. So anyway, we'll come back to those videos here in a minute. Buildings collapsing happens in the poorer areas where non-reputable agents and engineers are hired for cheaper rates. I mean, and that makes a lot of sense, right? But in one of those areas was, I believe it was South B or South C. That's not like Kibera, like that. It's not Kilimani, Kilauea, or Westlands or nothing like that. But it's not that far off. Like it's still, if it happens there, it is worrying. I mean, hey, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe in Kilimani, Kilauea, that's not an issue. The most recent was in Karen, an upscale neighborhood. I didn't hear about that. But I do know that, yes, that Karen is like one of the more upscale neighborhoods. Karen building collapse, Nairobi. Let's see if we can find that. Okay, so it looks like 2 days ago. It says 2 people have died while 7 injured after a building collapses in Karen. And Karen is like where a lot of millionaire Kenyans stay at. That's like, oh, that's a really big deal. And so, okay, so that's 4 buildings. That's 4 buildings. No, and so that goes against. So we just pulled up here. Let me pull it up since we have something that we're not seeing eye to eye on. So here it says Karen building collapse. Okay, these are Kenyans. Karen is not a lower middle class or low class neighborhood. That is like an upscale neighborhood. And you say, okay, well, the buildings are still being built. That's the issue. Because if they're collapsing as they're being built, that means, how do you know that, okay, after they build them, they say, okay, it's ready for somebody to live in there, and then a week later, the shit fall down? That is very alarming. Hey, at some point, I will have to go back to Kenya. Hopefully, this will be sorted out by then. But this is not me bashing or anything. It's just a logical concern. Like anybody with a fucking brain would be concerned about this if they were staying there. So that had something to do with, let's see. I need some more people to hear to keep it engaging. A report said that 85% of buildings are structurally unsafe. Yeah, I mean, and again, I gave you guys my personal opinion about it. The crazy part is like I don't really read my comments anymore. My 2026 new habit is to not read comments, not even really in a live chat. And but when I open my TikTok to see if I got any new messages or anything, I seen a little preview of a comment that says, "Hey, it's time for you to leave. You keep bashing Kenya." And I'm like, again, these are what Kenyans are reporting. I'm not bashing. I wouldn't know it if y'all didn't say nothing. So now, if we want to go over to the Iran situation, and so if you guys don't know, Iran was once a Christian nation that was an ally of Great Britain and the United States. And then in the 70s, they had a regime change. And then they have what the Iran that we know today that's super strict, very anti-American, not really that safe for us to go there, not a good idea, a place that you could probably be held as a political prisoner. And yes, now they are going through, if you guys don't know about the Gen Z revolutions throughout the world, like Madagascar, like Cameroon, Morocco, Mozambique, Kenya, Tanzania, Nepal, a lot of these places are having the youth of their population revolt, and some of them are successfully doing regime change, right? Like Madagascar and Nepal. And they're making a big difference. And so Iran seems to be going through the exact same thing where they want to go back to the Iran that was there in the 1950s. Okay. So right now, 2 weeks before I'm making this video, Iran's currency plunged and it fueled public outrage over economic mismanagement and corruption, and demonstrations quickly spread across provinces and became the largest wave of dissent since the Islamic Republic's founding in 1979, as I said before. Many protesters initially sought economic reforms, but the protests took on anti-government overtones. The U.S.-based human rights activist news agency told the Associated Press, AP, that by the 12th of January 2026, at least, and this number is higher now, at least 572 people have been killed, including 503 protesters and 69 security personnel. And the group said more than 10,600 people have been detained. And Iran has not released its own casualty figures, and independent verification remains difficult because authorities have shut down the internet, something that usually happens there, and international phone services. Security forces fired live ammunition into the crowds and conducted mass arrests. Rights groups alleged that dozens of bodies filled a morgue on the outskirts of Tehran, and authorities sent text messages warning parents to stop their children from joining the demonstrations due to the danger, saying they would deal decisively with the rioters. So that's the police basically saying, hey, if you come out here and protest, you're going to die too, basically. Semi-official media have begun naming celebrities who expressed solidarity in protesters and accused them of inciting the riots in the first place. In response to the protests, Iranian officials organized the large pro-government marches. Aerial footage broadcast by state television on the 12th of January showed crowds filling Tehran's Inglab Street. President Masoud Pezeshkian, I can't even pronounce his name, and Parliament Speaker Mohammed Bagher Khalibaf, these guys, right? And others, other leaders attended. The supreme leader, the guy that you guys have seen that most people would think is the president, but he's not. He's above the president, right? Or above the prime minister, I believe it is. Said that the marches shattered foreign enemies' plots and warned the United States to stop interfering. If you guys don't know, Donald Trump, the reason that this is important to the rest of the world is, number one, Iran is a strategic ally for Russia and China, and it once was Venezuela. But Donald Trump said that if they mistreated the protesters, that he would intervene militarily and come to save them. And I just got an update 20 minutes ago from the AP. It says that the death toll has now climbed to 2,000 bare minimum. It has spiked. So about 1,500 people have died. 1,500 more people have died since yesterday, which means as serious as this is getting, there might be a intervention as Donald Trump said that he would be doing before, but he's being called in his bluff now. But I think the world knows that he's not bluffing. I mean, I don't think that people knew or people thought that Donald Trump bluffed about what he said he would do. But after Maduro, I think people know that he would do anything. So there's a lot of leaders that are kind of anti-USA that kind of had their head in the air. And now I think they're shaking. Now they're probably scared. Now, I see that you said don't gloss over the fact that America overthrew the democratically elected president and reinstated the Shah, who was a brutal dictator, but an American ally because he let him take the oil. Yes, the guy that they had whenever Iranians didn't look like how they look today, like today they look like what they are, Muslims, right? They walk around in hijabs and stuff like that. And they have very strict laws. But before that, if you look at photos of Iranians from the 40s and 50s, they look like they were in Colorado, right? And I know that what happened in Guatemala and places like Nicaragua, where in Hawaii, where they overthrew those governments for interests of American business, is the same thing that happened in Iran almost a century ago. Well, not even almost a century ago, about 80 years ago, 70, 80 years ago, 40s and 50s, right? And yes, then they got their country back and they took everything, and now they have the Iran that you see now. This is pretty much, some people are in the comments are saying that it is the CIA. Some of you guys are saying that Trump is doing this for Israel, which is highly likely. To be fair, they've always had a large Islamic population historically. I mean, yeah. I mean, but they're different. I mean, they're not Arab, you know, but they had Christianity there at one time. Now I don't think it's there at all. So Shia, not Sunni Muslim. Yeah, so maybe that's what it is. So I said that since I just got a report 20 minutes ago saying that 1,500 more people have died since I got the report this morning, which they said is a spike. Some people said according to who? I mean, the thing is, we can't just make it seem like they're lying about everything whenever they are basically revolting on their own. Like, those are Iranians revolting. So we can't just say everything is lying. You said that you need to work on your reporting skills. Sounds like you're rambling on. Yeah, I don't read scripts. So whenever I do reports and I just discuss. No, yeah, I'm not a news reporter. Go watch CNN if you want to do that. So we already read that. So now that they said this being framed as war, officials have labeled protesters vandals, troublemakers, and armed terrorists, and they portray the unrest as a part of a broader Israel-Iran conflict, as you guys said before, and threaten to strike U.S. military bases or Israel if Washington intervenes. Now, they did say, I did watch a report that they said that Iran does not have a missile that can actually reach Israel itself. It can reach Israel's neighbors, but not actual Israel itself. Now, if you guys do know, last year, I think it was June or July, that they did strike the military base in Qatar. So they will do that. But I mean, that didn't really do anything. Let's be honest. I mean, I don't think anybody died. Anybody was injured. Correct me if I'm wrong. Once it happened, it was over with. And then right after that, Israel actually struck Qatar because they were looking for, I believe it was one of the Hamas leaders. So what are the opinions of the Chinese and Europeans? Because of course, the Chinese and the Russians are Iran's allies. And it says the Chinese foreign ministry said it opposed use of force in international relations and hoped that Iran could overcome the current difficulties and maintain national stability. In contrast, the German chancellor condemned the Iranian leadership by using disproportionate and brutal violence and urged it to protect its people. In North America, like Canada and other countries, Canada stated that it stands with the brave people of Iran, of course, and demanded that the regime halt repression and respect human rights. Such statements underscore a widening international divide. China and Russia frame the unrest as an internal matter, while Western governments condemn the crackdown. Okay. Ignore the audience. You are not a damn reporter. Yeah. No, we are discussing politics. Yeah, I'm not. If you want to go watch First Post or Z's dropping a new video, she reads the script. If you want to see somebody read the script, go do that. But when you guys watch my channel, I sit here and I give you my personal opinion. I just talk about it. I'm not gonna do all the other stuff. The protest may be organic, but it has always been due to the CIA tactic to infiltrate and even instigate unrest. I mean, yes, that's the same thing. I believe that whenever the United Fruit Company was having issues in Central America, or I believe it was there, or was it Honduras? But they were sending propaganda to one of those Central American companies and caused them to actually revolt in their own country without actually having to go there and cause it unrest. They just sent propaganda there. So that is something that they do. I mean, that's not new news necessarily, though. He said wrong. Iran hit up Israel pretty bad last year. I mean, I remember they had drones and stuff like that they sent, but the missile that they're saying that they have, which one of their best missiles, cannot, from what they said, I'm not in Iran, I don't work in their military. They said that it cannot reach Israel. They were sending leaflets in the streets of Honduras. It was Honduras, yeah. You said at least interview someone. And so I wanted to do a panel. I invited a few people that like to talk about politics a lot on their platforms. And then when I invited them to come talk about it on today's discussion, they didn't respond. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go ahead and start anyway. But I will drop the link here below if you guys have actual input and you want to discuss this. It says, also remember the Israelis have been committing genocide for over 2 years. 100,000 people are dead and 70,000 missing. I'm not denying that. I'm not saying one is right or wrong. I'm just telling you what happened. Also, if you guys have not been able to attend any of the webinars, or if you have attended the webinars before, we will no longer be doing the webinars publicly at all. They will only be private. So we already have a few private members that have been signing up over the time that the past 8 or 9 weeks that I've been doing the webinars. And so it's going to become an exclusive community, almost like a Patreon. But for some reason, my Patreon is not, I can get more people to sign up for this than I could on Patreon. So that's why I'm doing it here instead of actually uploading those videos on Patreon. So I'll leave the link down there to the chat if you guys want to join the membership where we talk about making money online so you guys could earn online income and live abroad. And then we're going to go over how China may be winning with the Maduro invasion and capture. And we're going to go over that. And then we're going to go over yesterday's discussion that we had where I was very, very irritated. There's a lot more to what you're saying. I mean, yeah, that's why this is supposed to be an open discussion. I had plans to have people on, but I don't wait. So I just went ahead and started. I mean, I follow politics enough to know some of this stuff. I mean, one thing that I've noticed about you guys that either there's always somebody's going to say you don't know what the hell you're talking about, or they're just going to throw insults. So like I said, damned if you do, damned if you don't, do what you want. So anyway, Austin's about to get cooked in a debate. I mean, cooked about what? I'm coming from a neutral standpoint. I'm just reporting and trying to open up a discussion. I would rather have a debate about this, you know, a debate about politics and stuff that actually matters. You know, some people that watch me would rather like to debate about prostitution online. I don't want to be in that crowd. So I like to do this kind of stuff. Now, that's not the right report. That's not the right report. So anyway, if you guys also know, I made a video on my other channel about, hey, Fresh Boy, you got to get on camera. You don't have to be on camera the entire time, but I at least need to be able to see your face in the back. And then you can turn the camera back off. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Because last time we got some people that come on here and they get nude on the live stream trying to get me banned off of YouTube.
That's not right, boss.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what's going on?
What's going on? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. Just tired. Just got back from work, man. What's going down? You still in Kenya or you back in Namibia?
No, I've been in Namibia for about 2 weeks now.
Okay. Oh, man.
So what you got for me between Iran and the Somalis? I know on my second channel, I got a lot of Somalis that are on my ass right now.
Yeah, man. You know, they're pretty smart people, man. They're very knowledgeable. The Somalis, the Ethiopians, the Eritreans. They know a lot about that. What's going on over there? You know, that thing. I think they've been setting that up for years with Somaliland, because it's even on old maps from like 50 years ago. They had that little slot of land, Somaliland, was on maps 40, 50 years ago. So they've been playing that out. Huh?
British Somaliland.
Yeah, they've been setting that up for them. That's been a long time playing with them. Everything with them is a play. So I know I always wondered about that. I was like, what is this? This Somaliland. They got Somalia, Somaliland, and then Ethiopia and Eritrea. So I always noticed that. Like, what is this? But now you know what it is. It was holding it for the chosen people.
You're saying they were sending remittance back to Somaliland?
No, I'm saying they were holding it. They were holding that just holding, divide and conquer thing. You remember? They were dividing the place, conquer it. They was dividing the people, and then, okay, I'll give you this, and then, when time came, hey, it's your time to shine.
Yeah, I will say this about the Somalis not in the United States, but the ones that are in Kenya. They are great business people. They do have something like CJs. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a lot of CJs that are owned by Somalis, especially the one in Kilimani. Maybe not. I don't know. It seems like it.
What's a CJ?
CJs is like their version of Cheddar's.
Okay. You talking about like a grocery store or something like that?
No, it's a restaurant. So they have that. They have plenty of restaurants that they own, and they do have our standard of customer service. Like, they don't really, usually, well, I don't know if you've been to Africa or not. They have
I've been out.
The African customer service where they don't check on you for 30 minutes.
They're slow.
Somalis aren't like that though.
Yeah.
So the money that they were sending back, maybe they went to those restaurants, maybe not. They do have great establishments in Kenya. But however, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how many of their businesses will be seized based off of these funds. Because from what they're saying is a lot of those businesses that they open up did come from the fraud of the daycare stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that was another thing I noticed with Somalians. Somalians are they like Ethiopians. They don't play. West Africans, they play. They go out, they buy clothes and do a whole bunch of dumb shit. Stupid shit they shouldn't do with their money. Chase hoes and all this other stuff. But them Somalians, Ethiopians, Eritreans, they do business. They take care of their family, and they do what they got to do. Um, I don't know. Maybe they're not gonna close. They're gonna take. They'll have a time chasing that money down. I'll tell you that. They might stop it on the front end, but on the back end, they can't close them joints down.
Well, the
They got
thing
their
is,
goddamn money. And
somebody said
they
that.
stay with their country. Even Somalians, man, it's crazy because that country they've been fucked up for like forever. They be fucked
Yeah,
up forever.
yeah. The somebody said that Somalis keep money circulating in their own community.
Yeah, they
Uh,
do. They do. And
so
just like the
that is
Ethiopians, they keep
that's
money in
true.
their community. They don't go out and buy Louis Vuitton belts, Timberlands. That shit
Yeah.
right there. I seen niggas do that for years, and I seen niggas do nothing but waste money.
So
And that's why they're niggas. Huh?
uh, hold on one second. So that's cool that they keep money within their community because that is how you build up a community is by supporting each other. The only issue is that they have at least not so much in Kenya, but in United kind of, but in the United States they've isolated themselves. And as you know before, most Africans act like this is the dumbest shit. It's so annoying for me to hear when they say, "I don't know. I didn't know I was black." What the fuck did you think you was then?
Yeah, I hear
So
you say that a lot, Austin. But the thing is, when you in those places, like the reason why a lot of people go there, they go there and say, "I feel peaceful. I don't have no problems with nobody, and I don't feel, any type of difference." So they don't feel that they don't have that same you know what I mean. It's not they don't have that same stigmatization. They don't feel stigmatized like that. So
well,
they're not gonna
let
be
me.
like, hey, I feel like I'm black or this and that. They just say, hey, I feel good today, or
Well, let me.
today things ain't good today.
Yeah, let me elaborate on that a little more. So the reason I said that was because most Africans will go to. They could be Kenyan, they could be Tanzanian, they could be Ghanaian, they could be Somali, and they say, "Oh, I'm not black, I'm Somali," or "I'm not black, I'm Ghanaian," and I'm like, the same that is black. I mean, we're not gonna make it seem like if you look at Donald Trump and look at yourself, you're gonna have a hard time figuring out who is black. Anybody with common sense know what the hell that means. But
Yeah,
the only time that these African groups will claim being black is when something bad happens. But if
well,
they
they're not gonna
build a
claim
new
being a
hospital,
European. They're gonna be like, I'm African, or you know what? I tell you this. Where I'm from, a lot of African people, they won't tell you the country they're from. They say I'm from Africa. And you gotta ask them. I do ask 1,000 of them. 1,000 of them are gonna say I'm from Africa. They can look at you stupid and say I'm from Africa. So that'll be it. They're not gonna say I'm black or white. They're just gonna say I'm African. Uh,
yeah, but I mean, again, there's a certain level of the black and white race thing is not hard to understand. I'm pretty sure if you ask the Romanian, "Hey, are you black or white?" They're not gonna have a hard time figuring out which box they fit in.
they're not gonna say that because that's kind of that's a kind of rhetorical question. Are you black or white? Of course, you see me, I'm black. I'm black as black as all outdoors. That's not going to be something they can really. Uh,
So, what did you have to? What did you want to debate on? Because I'm looking to debate.
debate? Oh, debate. I don't know, man. Not really much, man. I just say this, man. You gotta toughen up a little bit, man. People come at you. You gotta tell them. Like I told you, man. You gotta tell them. You gotta get mean with them, man. You gotta tell them. Curse them out or whatever. Just don't
Me?
let. You know what I'm saying? People come at you. You just come at them the same way. Disrespectful.
Yeah, I guess.
I think that would be better for you to stand up for yourself a little bit, Austin, because you can't just let these dudes just say what they want. They people are saying crazy stuff. I'm like, hold up.
Yeah, if you
That
were in
don't even
my
sound
position,
right.
man,
And
this is
I've
happening
been
by the
watching for a while,
hundreds.
but the thing is, I just don't see some of the bullshit they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, some people just saying things just to say it, but you gotta really, you gotta jump in the nigga's face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe if they were nearby me, but they're not. So but let me shuffle real quick because I'm trying to look for a debate on the politics real quick. So I appreciate you coming on, man.
Debate somebody. Okay, yeah. I think you'll find a debate about that real quick, especially with
Yeah.
a couple of these other dudes got channels.
Yeah, man.
But
Well, I
keep doing what you're doing, man, and don't take any wooden nickels. All right, little bud. Peace, man.
all right. Yeah. So what I was saying was, whenever Africans come to the United States and they say they don't know what black is, they didn't realize that there was people that fit into a group of African descent, people that fit into a group of European descent, right? Which is very obvious. Uh, Whenever you isolate yourself and you say, "Oh, I'm not part of the black community," or you want to talk shit about native black Americans that have been there for generations, and you isolate yourself. And so whenever something like this happens, why would we be on your side if you said for the entire time that we're just bastards? We don't know our fathers. We're bastards, criminals, and all the other stuff. And you said your problem is you don't acknowledge FBAs. What do you mean I don't acknowledge FBAs? I've been on their ass in many videos. I've made several videos about FBAs. I've made several statements, several videos about the whole group of Black Americans that say they have no African ancestry DNA. I've made videos about them. I've made videos about people that say they're just like how there's some Africans that want to talk shit about Black Americans. There's Black Americans that want to talk shit about Africans. So I've addressed both sides. Now, about yesterday, some people were saying that I'm hating. I am a hater. To answer your question, or if there was a question, or maybe it was a statement, yes, I'm a hater. I'm a hater. Now, I'm not like my haters. My haters are dedicated haters. They'll be making YouTube videos about me. You're not gonna see me do that. But if somebody bring up somebody I don't like, I will hate. But you won't see me bring them up unless somebody's bringing them up. And the reason that issue was brought up yesterday was because we have large numbers of people that keep sending me shit, asking me to do stuff that I don't want to do, that I never said that I wanted to do, and making comparisons. You cannot compare somebody that talks about relocating, moving to Africa, and geopolitics to somebody that makes minstrel content for kids. There's no comparison. So stop comparing me to that. We might as well be two different races at this point. Does anybody else have any input that they want to give on to today's debate? Nobody has came on to do the debate today. Just like in Europe, where the vast majority is white, it would be stupid for a white person to jump around shouting, "I'm white, I'm white." This is the thing, dude. You don't have to be in Africa saying, "I'm black, I'm black." Why? Because they have a filtered level, or they have filters of black. Okay, this is black, then they have this tribe, then they have this clan, right? Okay, so that being said, they're not going to identify as that. But I can tell you where I'm at in Namibia and in South Africa, they're not saying that dumb shit. They know what black is because they had an apartheid system here that taught them the difference between black and white. Now, when you get to the United States, some of them be thinking that they just can't understand that they're more related to me than they are to Donald Trump. Now, somebody says talk about issues in Greenland with Donald Trump trying to take it over. What do you want to know about that? Because I have seen recently that they are doing they're actually preparing. Is what he's basically saying, that they're preparing for a military intervention on Denmark, basically, because that's Denmark's territory, which is a U.S. and NATO ally. Venezuela was not. I am yet to see an African content creator talking down on African Americans. Yeah, you're being very disingenuous. Very, very disingenuous. You know damn well there's plenty of, especially Somalis, there's plenty of them online talking about us. We got Mr. James, the right person that I needed.
What's up, man?
Tell us what input do you have on these few topics that we've been covering today about the Somali fraud linked to Kenya, the Iranian revolution?
Well, when a fraud linked to Kenya, that's what they want on the right side. They want that kind of linkage. And when this stuff happens, what you were talking about before, how they try to delineate, when stuff like this happens, that's when they try to bring in the linkage between us, because they want to bring us in. Everybody wants to bring us in when shit hits the fan. Everybody that's having problems right now with the Trump regime, that's when they want to bring us in. But at the end of the day, what you were talking about before, when people come to the United States and how they want to say, okay, well, I'm black, I'm not black, or you FBA or not. The whole thing about race is about white. It's only about white. And anyone who tries to step in and try to separate themselves, even though they look like us, that's still about white. So if you're not white, it doesn't matter what you're saying. All they're doing is looking at your face. Doesn't matter what comes out of your mouth. They're only looking at your face. If your face doesn't fit the status quo, then you're not going to fit the status quo. And what I also wanted to point, when you mentioned Greenland, I wanted to talk about that. That's what I actually, I believe that Putin has still got strings attached to Trump. Now, this is going to be out there. Putin wants more than anything for NATO to fall. If Trump attacks Greenland, which is off the fucking wall, that will destroy NATO, which is exactly what Putin wants. What other reason would Trump have to attack Greenland? There is no other reason. There is nothing to gain. What, he wants to put hotels there? That's psychotic. I know he's fucked up in the head, but that is off the wall. You're going to attack NATO land so you can build hotels? What other reason could there be? What other reason could there be? He says he wants the oil. Attack Greenland for oil. Venezuela, that's a thug move right there. And it goes against what NATO is about. Because NATO is supposed to make countries want to join NATO. You're not supposed to. You didn't build NATO to make everybody shit bricks and say, okay, well, NATO, we better cower away. That's not. You're supposed to make people who want to destroy NATO to cower away, to be afraid and make it think twice. But Donald Trump, I believe, has strings attached to his back still by Putin, and everything he's doing right now will destroy. Well, absolutely, if he attacks Greenland, that will destroy. And right now, him even talks about it is majorly disrupting NATO. If we have a world war right now, it'll be a total mess. It'll be an absolute total mess. Go ahead.
What do you think that NATO would do, though? How are they going to react?
In terms of, well, they're going to alienate themselves, and they're going to have fights in the water. But it won't escalate to actually a war fight in America. That's if in other words, if that would mean that NATO was attacking itself. If NATO starts attacking themselves, then other countries are going to attack NATO. And Putin is going to attack NATO. And before he attacks, Putin is going to step back and start pulling people in to join his regime. He's going to start building. He's going to start saying, he's going to start offering this and offering that and giving people this, giving people patches. He's going to build an empire. And once he gets to a point where he feels satisfied, that's when he's going to attack and to completely obliterate NATO. But it's not going to. You can't really obliterate NATO without a nuclear war. That's the thing. You're not. It can't. It's not going to escalate. This whole thing with Trump, what Putin wants to do, it's not going to escalate to a world war because that's a nuclear war. And people, you have to understand, nobody is going to allow a nuclear war to happen. Trump is just very, very stupid for him to even have talks about a nuclear war. And this is why I say that. A long time ago, everyone knows that Trump said, we have nukes, why can't we just use them? Anyone who says that needs to have their license pulled and kicked the fuck out of the White House. Because you are not mentally stable to hold any office or wear any badge anywhere anytime soon if you said something like that. Just like in the Navy, if you go on a flight deck and you say, I'm not afraid of the flight deck, they pull you off the flight deck and give you a psych evaluation. It is policy.
Okay, so that's actually a good way of looking at that. I never thought about Putin wanting Trump to attack. I never thought about it that deep. So what do you think about with Venezuela? Because a lot of people are saying that China is actually winning off of Donald Trump invading Venezuela.
China finds a way. Every stupid thing Trump does internationally, China is in a good position, and it's already been said. China's in a good position to find a way to capitalize on it. It's just like in stocks. People make money when it goes up or down. No matter what, they make money. China is operating like that, and they position themselves for that because we both need them and they are a greatest ally. And we need them. Who needs them? Everyone who makes money off China. Who consider them an ally? Us. Because everyone needs them. Everyone is making money with them. The same goddamn reason. You see how that works?
Yeah.
They both against China because all of our billionaires are making money with them and we're collecting the taxes that they make. And we hate them because all of our billionaires are making money with them and we collect taxes. And we're in a position, we're actually in a position where they're sending all of our jobs all over and Trump doesn't give a shit. Got all of our jobs, all these billionaires have got most of our jobs overseas and they're making a killing and paying no taxes. And the jobs that we have, they're paying nothing. And what that does for China is they get to sell their product for pennies on a dollar and still make the money that they're making. They're killing us. And when Trump doesn't agree with it, all they got to do is just say, oh, well, all those problems that you're causing, here's what we can do to remedy that. All China has to do is sit there and wait for him to do something stupid. And then they capitalize on it.
Purple Rain
and it's nothing we can do. Go ahead.
Purple Rain says to you that China will never deliver the first blow and the U.S. will not strike, so it's a non-issue.
Exactly. That's exactly right. 100%.
Yeah, and
China's not
like with these certain spots like Venezuela and Greenland, they're saying that it's about oil and all this stuff, but honestly, I think that it's just not about oil. I think these are strategic spots because now Trump is talking about invading Mexico or bombing Mexico and taking them over. So you got to think now we can hit them from both angles. We got America right here, and now we got one of the largest countries in South America, and they have access to the Panama Canal. So Venezuela I believe that's a strategic spot.
No. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then when you were saying that Trump is doing this for Putin, I mean, Trump, he's all over the place because you got to think he's the same people that they're saying is controlling our government and stuff. He's doing everything for them right now. So, I mean, I guess he's just working. Everybody got their hand in his back because he's everywhere.
No, Venezuela is definitely about oil. And if you're saying strategic, you could probably give me a more detailed war dynamic of why that would be strategic. We're talking about South America, but I mean, if you have an idea of what that would do for us, but if we wanted a military base in Venezuela, they will be happy to do that because that's kind of a shoe into NATO. It doesn't really work fully, but that does help them. When you have a military base there, that's some protection of NATO because our military base is there.
It's
And
not
depending
just for
on
military though. That's a great spot for import export too. Venezuela, it's like they're saying oil, but our whole life we've always known the Middle East for oil. They never were just we've
well,
heard a little bit like Venezuela might have oil, but we never they said Africa had oil. Like they
oh,
just
they
now
have
started
oil.
coming out and
No,
said that Venezuela has the
Venezuela,
largest oil reserves in the world.
yeah, Venezuela has one of the largest oil reserves in the world. It is that they have a lot of oil, but their country is too corrupt to even make the money. That's why they have so many problems right now.
And
Okay,
I just
they
that's
left the
just kind of
door.
hard to believe because
Venezuela left the door open for this to happen to them. They kind of did. I mean to cut you off, but I needed to say that, and it's definitely about oil. But if I were respectfully request for you to break down what is more important than billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in oil, that would be more focused on than the oil, because
I mean, oil
break
is
it down.
oil is old school. That's old school money. You got to think like the Saudis. That's how they came up is off oil. And what do you see them venturing off to? Sports, literally sports, pay-per-views. They're not worried about oil money no more. Like that's
Well, they're
outdated. That's
not.
why it's hard to believe that Venezuela is about oil. I think it's more strategic, and we just got to see how it plays out. And then Maduro, he's smiling on his pictures. I think they like broke a deal or something. He doesn't even look like he's in any type of distress.
They may have, but he's not. But whatever deal that they struck, it got reneged as soon as they put him. As soon as he got brought to America, I'm telling you right now.
I mean, you can say that, but he's still smiling with the pictures with the FBI agents and stuff. I mean,
Because they're probably bullshitting him. You have to understand, Maduro's not very smart. He's dumb. Maduro's not smart.
he had power over all those people in Venezuela.
Yeah,
So
there's a
calling a
yeah,
whole-
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot
calling
of
a whole
people with
country
power.
from-
Yeah, there's a whole lot of people with power that are dumb as hell, and I mean dumb.
But
You think? I mean, you got. We can go down. There's a lot of people. Did you know that Elon Musk was a complete idiot?
yeah, I mean, we with the Venezuela thing, we'll just have to agree to disagree because
Well,
honestly,
yeah, I know. I just wanted you to, because you said it was more strategic.
no, I see what you're
And
saying with the oil. I just think
well,
I'm just thinking
no,
bigger than oil right now.
well, I know,
feel
but
like it's something strategic.
yeah, that's when you said strategic. I wanted you to break that down,
I
and
just
that's
don't
why I
know
was
if
asking.
my bad to keep cutting you off, but I don't know if it's about war with Mexico, and I don't want to I mean, oh yeah, we're on kick. I could talk. I don't know if it's war with Mexico, and I don't know if it's those you people. Like it could be for them. Like you got to think they have a itty bitty country surrounded by their enemies, and Trump is their guy. So all of this, him getting Greenland and him getting Venezuela, he could just be setting up shop for those people, honestly, because they
Well,
travel
no,
well. When
yeah,
I travel to a couple of these countries and they're out there.
well, he's not. They're not. He's all right. The whole thing with Mexico, they're not going to war with Mexico. This is they're attacking the drug regime in Mexico, and the president of Mexico is actually working with the United States to do that. They welcomed it. They
Yeah,
opened the
because
door for
I
it.
think she's corrupt too. I think she's a little.
Well, yeah. Well, she may be corrupt, but the drug cartels, they want to kill her.
That's what I'm
They've
saying.
already.
Because
I
as
mean,
soon
they're
as she
threatening
gets
her
in
life.
office,
So, and she
all the
knows
drug
that.
cartels start getting, all the leaders start getting picked up and stuff. So that was kind of fishy to me.
Well, you have to understand that's what that's about. And if you say a strategic military tactic, are you saying a strategic military tactic to attack countries in South America?
Not just to attack them, but you got to think like, man, I don't to be brutally honest. I went to Peru like over winter break, and I don't know who the hell's in charge of that country, but like you can like the president was riding in a Jeep Cherokee. Like you can take that country over and and
But
nobody's
why?
gonna,
But why would we need a
because
military?
like this is a dog eats dog world. Like you're gonna conquer.
What?
People aren't gonna sit back and just the whole world is founded off conquering. Like
Well, I know
So you
that
think,
we have a military base in Peru, right?
I don't know what they had. I
yeah,
could have went up and touched the president on his shoulder. I'm like, what the heck? I don't know what they have.
You have to understand, military bases do a lot for countries like the countries in South America.
I can't. I didn't see any military presence. That's like, and
Well, I mean,
I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but like,
well, no, I mean, well, I'm just saying, I don't there. As far as a strategic military tactic of doing all this, attacking them to pull a military base there, that wouldn't make any sense. Because you want to pull a military base somewhere, you want to do it in a friendly way. Because if you put it in a military base there, um, after you've attacked them, now you're going to have guerrilla warfare all around your military base the entire time, just
yeah,
like Afghanistan.
yeah. But I mean, Maduro. That's what I'm saying. Maduro's smiling in all his pictures. That's why I'm like, they're
Because
trying to
he's an
strike a deal.
idiot. Maduro,
And
look,
he was a
Maduro is
dictator. That might have been like one of the easiest countries in South America to just be like, hey, like you do this for us, we do this for you, and let us handle this. We're gonna implement
well,
this here over here, and
right. And
you ride off
exactly
in the
on that
sunset.
note, well, that's what I'm saying. So exactly on the same of what you just said, if we wanted a military base there, we could have easily negotiated, and it would have been a piece of cake.
Yeah, we're
So,
not about that though. We're America. Like we did you hear what they said happened? They said that they dropped like a sonic boom and like it wasn't they didn't even think it was real people shooting. They said it was like 300 rounds per second or something
and you
like
think
that.
we did all that so we could put a military base there?
Not just put a it's not just to put a military like that's a simple way of going about it. It's strategic. You got to see how it plays
No,
out
I'm
in the
asking.
next
You said that was more. All right. So, what is the main? All right. What is the end point for why you believe we attacked Venezuela?
because Venezuela, I don't know the facts, but Venezuela is one of the largest countries in South America, and it sits right on the Panama Canal. So like you got import and export. So that's the biggest reason, honestly, to me.
So we attacked them so we can have imports and exports.
No strategic location, all of
A
that,
strategic,
whatever you want.
okay, a
Whether you want
strategic
to do
location.
import exports, attack Mexico,
So,
easy
in other
route
words,
down
military.
to
So a military base.
all that, the whole 9 yards. It's
Oh,
not
what do you
just
mean,
one
whole
thing.
night?
I just said it's multiple.
Holy shit! All right, so a military base, right? That's what we want. We attacked them so we could put a military base there, right?
Just presence. It's a strategic location. That's what I'm saying.
A strategic location for what?
For import, export,
For
to
import and
control
export. So not a.
control
So
that
not a.
area. Because
So a,
now you can say Russia, you can't trade through here. China, you can't trade through here. Like we're putting sanctions on you.
why?
You
But
can't
why
do
would
all
we
that.
attack them? But why would we attack them to do that?
Because we're stronger than them. We're bullies.
So
We
we
can do
just
that.
did it just attack them. We
I
didn't
don't know
do
why
it.
they did it, but that's
So
one
you
reason.
don't. Oh, so you don't know why they did it, but you know
No,
it's not
you
oil.
don't know either though. You're not in the war room. You're not in the
I know that. I understand that.
We
But
don't
we're
know the
talking.
exact reason. All we can do right now is
But you
speculate.
don't either, right? But you're saying you don't know
Yeah, all we can do is speculate right now.
and speculate. Fair enough. I believe it's oil. I 100% believe it's oil.
Hey James,
But if it's
Yeah.
oil, you still got to put a military base there. You still got to have presence.
let's come back to this topic. Let's see what y'all respond to with this one.
Trying to get status. You got a Honduran here. We're trying to get status. Texas Tech. That's fine. Open the door. Break the window. On 1, 2. I'm gonna break it. Open the door. Open it. Last warning. You're gonna get away. You're gonna get away. I got up another door. I got this. I'm gonna break it. Hey, go one way or the other. Don't go back.
And why are they resisting?
I'm sorry, what?
Why are they resisting?
Well, let me ask you this: do you think that ICE is just doing their job, or do you think, like, do you think that they are? Because I know on the right they say that they're doing their job. On the left, they say that they're racially profiling and they're not actually screening who they're actually arresting first.
I mean, they're doing both, but they're resisting. They're doing the same thing that they said we're doing. They're resisting arrest. He should have came out the car, put his hand. He should have been listening to their orders.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Like what? I'm dead.
All right. So you realize that in the United States, you do not have the right to forcefully make someone get out of the car and show their ID if they didn't do anything.
Yeah, I know.
Then why are you saying? But why did you?
Are we gonna act like cops still don't do that? Like they don't do what they want to do in the United States?
Are you saying that's right?
Did I say it? I said that they need to stop acting stupid. Like it's not 20 people with guns and listen to what they're saying. That's why they're wanting the reaction to happen. But when it's us, you like these people are not standing up for us. They're telling us to stop resisting, and you guys are standing up for these people. It does not make any sense.
I'm not standing up for anybody. I'm saying
yes,
that
you are.
Who am I standing up for?
You're standing up for these people that are resisting arrest. These white people that are resisting arrest.
All right, you went way off the rails with that one. All right, so this is what I'm trying to say. You said, why are they resisting? One, they're not really resisting. What they're doing is they're
not resisting.
Hold up, dude. They're exercising their rights. You do not have the right to do what they're doing right now. That is 100% illegal.
So what was George Floyd doing when he got killed?
George Floyd?
Yeah.
How does this connect? How does this connect to George Floyd?
Because it's the same thing. These people are blatantly doing some bullshit. George Floyd wasn't doing some bullshit and got his knee necked on.
What are they doing right here? What did they do wrong?
They're sitting in the car, not listening. They're telling him to get out the car, whatever. Play the video.
They don't have a right to tell them to get out of the car.
They're telling
you know what, Steve Weiss? Yeah, I'm gonna play it again. You know what? I can kind of see what you're saying because I ain't gonna lie. If 30, it looked like it's about 30 of them. If that many showed up, I think
I'm gonna do.
No, you're right, Austin.
Cameras are out.
I would.
They see all these cameras are out, and I don't know what they think we're living in a fairy tale. But when it's us, like we're not living in a fairy tale. They're up and firing on us, and these same people in these videos that got these cameras, they're all the news headlines are thug. He was using counterfeit money. He had a gun on him. He was stealing from the store. That's the type of headlines that they would be using with us. But with these people is, these ICE agents, they're racist. They're the new KKK. Listen, black people, we need to stay out of this fight because it's.
Well, that woman, they sure lied about her. I mean, they lied right to our faces, and they didn't do it. They didn't lie in a way where they can actually think they can get away with it. They lied. They basically said at this, no, you're stupid. You don't stop lying. What your eyes saw, you didn't see. This is what you saw. And if you say you didn't see this, well, we're going to call you anti-American.
Black people.
I mean, that's how bad it is. Now, hold up. Let me break down what I believe is going on right here beyond whether it's right or wrong for them to do that. Of course, it's real fucked up. But let me tell you what Trump said a long time ago that he wanted to create a police state in his first term, before his first term. More than anything, he wants a police state. This is a process of creating that.
Man, they've been saying that since 2016. We are not listening to that.
I'm aware of that.
They said that his first term.
Yeah.
They said that his second term. There's not
exactly.
Well, let me ask you because back to that lady that just got shot. What's her name? Renee. So yeah. I don't know what to believe on that one. If you watch the video CNN put up from the rear side of the car, it don't look like she ran over nobody. I don't know if the video that Fox News is showing is AI, because on the one Fox News is showing, it's like, damn, okay, I would have shot her too. But the other one is like, why did they shoot her?
No, I saw just about every video angle. The one from the cop, the one from the other guy, and in no way did she give him any reason to shoot her in the face like that. None.
We gotta get some order in these streets. Like they out here, they tripping. We gotta get some order in these streets. They think they can do whatever they want.
Who can?
These libs, like they just crashing out.
So you think the ICE agents are doing what needs to be done?
I don't even think they're doing what needs to be done. I think they need to get more serious because it's bad out here. And I'm not even just I'm not talking about the
So
Somali stuff.
I'm gonna break something down for you. The hood, I know what you're thinking about. The hood, the gang,
I'm not
and all the.
no, I'm
I'm
FBA. I'm
I mean,
FBA. I'm not thinking about that. I'm FBA. I'm
okay,
not
then
thinking about that at all.
what problems do you think the ICE name it? Give me a few problems that you think the ICE agents need to build more and do strong and stop.
All the
Like
parasites.
give me some a couple
all the parasites that's funneled over
what
here illegally.
parasites?
The
So
ones from Eastern Europe, the ones from the Caribbean that they flew in from the plane, the Mexicans that
so
came
but
over
what kind of what
everybody.
individuals?
I have
We
no
have
huh? I just said it. All the illegal
so
immigrants.
you want all the people who are not American to get forced out by ICE?
You guys travel more than me, and you guys know like we have to get visas for
You're
like
jumping the subject. I don't know where you're going with this, man.
listen, we have to get visas for 3 months. It is no like we stand in Kenya and we get to like chill and
Why are you talking about Kenya?
jobs and it is none of that.
So you want to get all the foreigners out of America?
You said what?
You want to get all the foreigners out of America?
Illegal immigrants. If you're here legally,
so you want illegal immigrants? They're not going after illegal immigrants. You want to know how I know? Because I can drive, dude. I'm right now in Vegas. I can drive around and point out all those guys over there. They're illegal immigrants, and I know where they work. So a lot of people know when they. Oh, wait a minute. Just wait. Hold on. Wait a dog. No, man. Hold on. Let me break this down for you. I know where they are. I know where they accumulate, and so do the ICE agents. They're not going after them. You want to know why? Because they were told not to. You know why they were told not to? Because the billionaires that are funding these son of a bitches are making money off those guys. They were doing that, and then they told them to stop. So what did they do? They start running around in the street and just randomly going after people, shooting girls in the head because they don't like lesbians or something. They're not going after criminals. They know exactly every time. Let me tell you something. Every single police station in the United States knows exactly where the gangs are, knows exactly where the drug houses are, know exactly where each drug dealer is dealing drugs at that very moment. They know exactly where they all are all the time. Hold up. They know exactly where they all are all the time. And they're not going after them because they're scared. And the proof of that, as soon as a billionaire wants to come in and gentrify one of those locations that are all bad, and we all say those are bad neighborhoods, that area gets cleaned up like that. And it stays that way. You think those ICE agents don't know where the illegal immigrants are? Oh, yeah, they know. Bro, you can go down to Home Depot and Lowe's and they'll be accumulating in a little spot.
They're not there no more. California,
wrong.
San Diego,
No,
they're
wrong.
not out there no more.
You ain't getting around, brother. You ain't getting around.
I'm in California.
Then you need to drive.
With like real immigrants. I'm seeing real immigrants.
Then you need to drive around more because they're all out there all the time. They're not scared of nothing. They were scared, but they're not scared no more.
Not just like patrolling, like they just not just patrolling, the area or whatever. But
who's not patrolling the area?
Definitely, they're blending in like with society. The Home Depots.
No, they can't. All right, well, maybe I could try to blend in, but trust me, you can look at them and you tell those are illegal.
California is already all Mexican, so they're not just going to be tackling everybody like how you're saying. They're not doing that.
I never said they're going to tackle everybody.
You're saying
no, wrong. I said they are doing random people. They're not going after the illegals. They know exactly where they are.
Lance, come up. Now we got to ask you, like, we got to see if we just, we got to see about that.
I'm posting a link to join the chat right now. In the meantime, if Lance doesn't come up, I'm glad you guys are going back and forth to debate. Let's see this next topic in the meantime.
This morning, new videos are emerging from Iran showing the government's violent crackdown on protesters. This man appearing injured on the ground as thousands continue to gather to demand the overthrow of Iran's Islamic government in power since 1979. Another shows families searching for loved ones among body bags. But the disturbing videos are increasingly rare. With the internet already cut by the government, this morning, a human rights group tells NBC News state security services are now hunting for the few satellite communication systems activists have been using to smuggle out videos, and are even going house to house to physically cut phone lines and plunge Iran into a total internet darkness.
When you cut landlines, it's also very evident that they are trying to prevent the organization of actors inside the country. And it's not successful. People are still coming to the street in massive numbers.
A U.S. official with direct knowledge of events tells NBC News protests have now spread to every Iranian province, that the crowds remain huge, and that the government appears to be on its heels. The Speaker of Iran's parliament warned if the U.S. attacks, American bases will burn. President Trump has said that would be a big mistake.
If they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
In Iran, state media, the only media amid the tightening communications blackout, are telling Iranians that.
So, James, do you think that Donald Trump is going to actually intervene? Like he just said, it's going to be met with terrible force.
You have to understand, the fall of Iran, Western would greatly benefit from the fall of Iran. Okay. Reduced Iranian influence would weaken the axis of resistance, which includes Hezbollah, militias in Iraq, regimes in Syria, energy security. I mean, there's a great benefit from the fall of Iran. I think Trump is just waiting for it to, is just watching it. I mean, his professors are just watching Iran and just watching the chaos right now. Right now, it's falling on its own. And if Trump sees an opportunity to just deliver that last blow and just completely collapse them, which I think that's what's going to happen, you know, and I believe they've already intervened. That's why it's going. That's why it's happening the way it is. Israel absolutely would love Iran to fall. That's their primary adversary. Israel probably played a key role in doing that. I mean, Israel's out right now. Israel's able to do whatever the hell they want. I mean, their main Iran's the Arabian Gulf will greatly benefit. I mean, there's so many that would benefit from the fall of Iran. So many. I would have to like pull up some to get them all, but the list goes on and on. If you pull up ChatGPT, you could probably do that right now and just start breaking it down for us. But I believe that Israel played a key role in what's going on right now. You know, they got people on the ground that speaks the language. You won't know they're Israeli. There's no way of you knowing they look just like them. Putting a bug in people's ear, paying off certain people, pissing off certain areas. Crushing infrastructure that, some parts want, and then creating hostility and making it seem like the government is going against the people or these people on this side, left and the right, creating the left and right when it really wasn't. That happens a lot. We're very good at that, creating the left and the right in countries where they didn't have one. But I think that's they're just waiting for around when the right time. And I believe that Israel would want Trump to deliver the last blow so no one knows that Israel played a role in it. Israel would love to do that. So I think they're just watching it right now. They're just watching to see what happens.
I agree with you. It's definitely like it's messed up what they're doing. I don't want to say that like cuss or anything, but like the Muslims, I don't know if you guys know, but it's like the Shiites and the Shiites or whatever, and Iran is like the other one, and they're like the last one. They're like the last big one. If I'm confused, if I'm saying it right, I don't know.
Can I ask you a question? Who do you think is in position to fill the power vacuums left by Iran? What country?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be those guys that you're talking about. But
which guys?
The U's. But
I could tell you right now, it's going to be Turkey.
Turkey? Why you say that?
Especially Syria and Iraq. Turkey is in position to fill any power vacuums left by Iran, and the other ones would be Syria and Turkey. See, you don't really know what's going on with Turkey. Let me tell you about the One of our allies right now that really hates us is Turkey. Turkey is not our friend. Okay, Turkey is not our friend, but we need to keep them because it's very strategic to keep Turkey somehow, some way on our team. But they do not like the United States. They be fist fighting our soldiers. Trust me, I remember. They pick fights a lot in Turkey. And that's kind of some of the reasons why we had problems when we were there, Austin. I mean, the resentment is already been there for a while, especially with black. Yeah. So I mean, it's been already been there, and I kind of expected a little something, but I still would feel comfortable with just going to Turkey if I had a reason to go there. You know, some of the stuff that they're doing there with medical and airline, whatever. I would feel safe just being in certain places, but other than that, there are certain parts of Turkey that me and you go to see as American, we're gonna get beat up. But just overall, that's not one of our friends. But Turkey would absolutely be filling those vacuums left by Iran. But the main powers would love to see Iran fall. So only thing people are doing on the outside is helping it along. I mean, there's countries in there that probably do. Turkey's probably in there, going in a crowd and throwing rocks at the police.
I mean, this is all I think.
Sending weapons to one side and grenades or whatever. So they're all fucking it up.
I think it's all biblical. They're talking about the Somaliland. I wasn't on here when y'all was talking about that, but they're talking about the Somaliland, and I forget like verbatim what it says in the Bible, what God gave to Abraham, but he gave him like land from the Nile all the way to the Euphrates, I believe, in Asia. So I believe that Iran is just an expansion move, in Syria or Syria. I don't know. I think Syria was just an expansion move for them. But the Shiites and the Sunnis, I seen somebody has said it right. I think the fall.
Well, how do you think Somalia will be affected by the fall of Iran?
I don't think Somalia will be like directly affected. I think like it's just an expansion for Israel.
Well, they're entangled. Somalia is entangled with Iran. I mean, I don't know the true dynamics. I mean, I'm not that, but I would have to pull some stuff up. But they're entangled with Iran. They will not benefit from the fall of Iran. It would kind of
I know they wouldn't benefit, but Israel would benefit from both of their falls because it will be the greater Israel. I might be wrong, like on the geographically, but I believe they have some like more expansion to do. They're trying to go eastward and westward.
I think al-Shabaab will probably splinter, kind of try to radicalize them. They will be vulnerable. I think that. So you have to understand that's when countries like Iran fall like that. There's a whole. That's when it's so easy to radicalize the people because they are naked. They have nothing as far as religion or government. The religion is the last to fall. Religion kind of maintains, and that's the good part. They like that. Why? Because they use their own religion to radicalize them. That is the main way to radicalize people in a country like this. They use their own religion, and it is so easy. If the people are not strong, okay, as a people, if they're not proud people of their country, and they more cater to religion. If they're more catered to religion, it's very easy to radicalize them. And these countries and so many throughout the world, they just don't understand that. Religion weakens you in that sense. I
was just gonna have a rebuttal for you, and then I had thought about China, and I don't think China has ran off religion. And I had said something.
No way. They think that. They think that everyone thinks China's they're ran by religion. People think that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they are.
China is run by power and money.
Yeah.
Period. Why do you think Chinese girls are such gold diggers? Yeah, I said it. I love them though. I love some Chinese girls.
But they're definitely patriots. I had ran into a Chinese.
Nah, they're big on that. It's been a.
What the hell?
Yeah, they're big on. You disrespect their country. Even though you get a Chinese girl and she hates her government, she probably hate Young P. It doesn't matter if you disrespect your country. It's like, well, if you don't like my country, my brain and the way I live, everything about me, the way I exist is still China. So fuck you.
And let me
So
say one more thing before I get off. But Austin, I wasn't trying to get on you about the FBA thing, but
that's what it is.
honestly, with the Somalian fraud stuff, like it's bad, and it's bad for sure because it's our country that's being defrauded. But it's a common theme with these people, and you got to give kudos to them because they don't assimilate, and people in America, they might say that's bad, but I think that's good how a group of people can like stay within and keep the money within their community or whatever they're doing. We complain about the other people that has factions in our government, but they stay within, and it's a common theme with them. We're saying that they're taking over, but they're sticking together, and that's what I try to say, like I wish our people can do, but it's probably over with. We probably won't see that.
We could do that. I mean, the thing is that whenever again, like I said, whenever they isolate themselves like that and something like this happens, everybody's gonna go against them. So it plays against them too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I had to say, man. I appreciate you for letting me on.
Got love for you, man.
Love, hey, I appreciate the conversation too. It's
Yes,
all
sir.
friendly banner and everything. Appreciate that.
All right.
Good.
Shout out to those libs, right?
What did you ask him?
Shout out to the libs. I wanted to go in more on that, but I think that it would have kind of went around in circles though.
Yeah, he said the libs is out of control right now.
So send ICE agents after the libs. Man, he better watch who he say that to, man. Whew. God damn. Send ICE agents after the liberty. God damn. Man, that's loaded. That's
they said James is a Democratic shield.
Prove it. Come on and prove it that I'm a Democratic shield.
Yeah, y'all come up. We need James. I knew James would be the perfect guy to bring on. James can debate you. James is well informed on a lot of topics, even though somebody was trying to say that he was just spewing propaganda.
You gotta prove it. That's the thing, Austin. We're at political odds, but not completely, but a little bit there and there. But we could debate something and you ain't no idiot. If I prove a point to you, you'd be like, oh, okay. And if you prove a point to me, I'll say, okay, that's how you debate. Anything outside of that is an argument, which I have no interest in doing. I mean, what the fuck I want to argue with somebody for?
Yeah.
I'd rather go hit the gym or something like that. Fuck. I mean, seriously. I mean, the gym is a whole lot better than arguing with somebody. A whole lot better.
Let's see. They said Trump has now ended protective status with Somali.
Breaking news to share with you on this Tuesday, as Fox News is reporting that the Trump administration has ended the temporary protection status for Somalis in the United States. We're taking a look here at a social media post courtesy of Fox News, and Fox News Digital saying this: the Trump administration is ending temporary protection status for Somalia, affecting several thousand Somalis currently living in the U.S. and several hundred currently living in Minnesota under the protection. Somali migrants with TPS will be required to leave the country by March 17th. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem told Fox News Digital in a statement, quote, temporary means temporary. Country conditions in Somalia have improved to the point that it no longer meets the law's requirement for temporary protected status. That statement went on to say, quote, further, allowing Somali nationals to remain temporarily in the United States is currently and contrary to our national interests. We are putting Americans first. Bringing us out to a live image that we have of the White House over in Washington, D.C., as I continue to cite some more of this reporting courtesy of Fox News Digital. Sources tell Fox News Digital that there are 2,004.
The massive fraud scandal in Minnesota that captured the media's attention has spurred action across the Trump administration. Of course, that was the underlying fraud that brought the Homeland Security up there that's created what we see all this conflict. It's interesting you compare the Trump administration to the Biden administration. You might recall this. The Biden administration, after the overturn of Roe v. Wade, they wanted a whole of government approach to trying to advance abortion. And they figured out several ways to do it. The Trump administration has a whole of government response to this corruption and this fraud that's taking place in Minnesota. And what we're finding out is like an onion. It's layer upon layer. Well, last week, the administration announced the creation of a new division in the Justice Department for national fraud enforcement, because it apparently goes beyond the boundaries of the borders of Minnesota. And the Agriculture Department announced its suspension of federal financial awards to Minnesota and Minneapolis. Well, last month, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, sent federal employees into Minneapolis and St. Paul to conduct their own investigation. And what have they found out? Well, joining me now in just a moment, we're going to be joined by the Secretary of Department of Housing and Urban Development, Scott Turner, to give us an update on what his department has discovered there in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. And we now have him. Secretary Turner, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you, Tony. So good to be with you, sir. Always. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as
Man, that dude sound like he might be a little retarded. So they said, yeah, he sounded retarded. $700 million was found in cash. I seen that they said Ilhan Omar had something to do with that as well. Now, again, right now there are a lot of Somalis trying to say that it's Somali hate and it's racism. I mean, in my opinion, if this keeps escalating and they keep finding and cracking down on more stuff, I mean, is that really going to be a legitimate cop-out?
What do you mean cop-out?
Because they're trying to blame it all on, they're just being targeted by race.
No. See that? Yeah, I see that wouldn't be a cop-out, because that doesn't work for the people who are banking off white supremacy, racism, and anti-blackness and everything. The ones who are astute to how that dynamic works and how to use it to gain power, business, or whatever the case may be. The ones who are using it, the ones who are actually making things happen, moving the pieces around, that will go against the strategic method of divide and conquer. Why? Because you have Somalis, they already know that a lot of them, they come over here and they say, I know black. Okay. If they're doing that, then that is a good way. That's actually working with that oils the machine. So to attack them would actually cause them to come with us, even though we are horrible at gaining allies. Black people are horrible at gaining allies. We're worst at it. And if we actually tried, we would be the best at it. That's another story. But now for them to make a big move to racially attack Somalis in this manner, only the ones who actually believe that racism is a thing, that there's a reason to hate black people, the stupid ones, the ones who are like really MAGA and they really think that black people are the problem, they would just say, if you any kind of connection to black, then you're the N-word and we don't like you, get out. All right. They don't gain anything from it, but just you are the enemy and we want you like out of America. So they're the stupids. They're not gaining anything from it. They're not ones who are moving to pieces. You're talking about ones who are moving to pieces. These are the people on top. They're not gonna. Now, some people would say, well, hold on, James. They're actually going nuclear right now with the racism. Why? We're attacking everybody. They believe that with Trump in power, we don't need any of that anymore. We want all of you out. Okay? We don't need the Brandon Tatum's and the Candace Owens anymore, but they're doing really, really good for us. So we'll keep a couple of these some bitches around. So that could also be. So there's two sides of it right there. So both can actually be true, because some may want to make a move for this reason, and others may go against it. And some who say, well, Well, you got on guys. It's been working really well because we got them all fighting each other. I mean, you got people who are clearly black and African coming over here and say, "I know black." That hurts black people and it separates everybody, and that allows us to go in and divide and conquer. But they say, yeah, but we don't need to divide and conquer anymore. We already conquered them. We just want them all out, get them out of here. They're not American. They're not FBA. They're not born here. We can just actually get them and lift them out of America and just focus on these guys over here. So there's that. But I think the picture is a little bit bigger than that. And I think that when it comes to the ice ages and what they're trying to do, yes, they would want to just attack them and just say, you don't belong here either. Get out. You know,
Zanto's question is: American blacks are the worst with gaining allies. The FBAs pretend that they don't need anyone's friendship while being the biggest crybabies about how no one likes them.
Well, no, everyone does come over here and say we don't like black people. If you don't know about that, then you need to get out more. You got all kinds of people who look like us and are clearly ethnically African roots. Okay, you only get brown skin from us. Okay, and some people say, well, what about the Native Americans? They have brown skin. I was like, yeah, and we already proven that a lot of that blood came from Africa originally. So stop there. And if you want to go ahead and read it up. You can call me a liar and then go look it up yourself and then shut the hell up. But we have all kinds. You even have some Indians that are anti-black, man. Native Americans who are anti-black. You go on these reservations like, we don't belong here. You don't belong here. Yeah, there's stories of that. It's off the wall. The women don't do that. But anyway, go down the list. You have people from Congo. You have people who look just like Austin, identical twin. I know black. I'm not a black person. Okay, you are the black person. You are, you are a kuta, whatever they say. I think, whatever they call us and everything. What does they call it again? Oh, something, whatever. But yeah, they call us cotton pickers and everything. Okay, that's why I was in that movie of Wesley Snipes. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was. That's not something that they don't do, man. And I've experienced. I remember when I was treated like I was mistreated by my family. It was an African guy who was a friend of the family. He spoke down to me, and it took me a long time till I was a grown ass man to understand why he was like that. And he always talked foul to black people, but when he's around white folks, man, he's the nicest person in the world. As soon as the black person comes up, look at you like, well, what are you doing here? That's what that sentiment is about. They want to align with white folks. And they all believe that the main way of doing that is to say, you are the N-word, white people are good. White people are trying to clean up the country. You're the one committing crimes and doing all this foul stuff over here. You're the one who causing the problem. White people are nice, they're good, and they don't cause problems. They're trying to, they're all leave it to Beaver. They're all good white folks. They're smiling. Yeah, I want to be around with that. I don't want to be around the ghetto and thugged out black folks. I don't want that. I want that. That's what that's about. They don't want that smoke. So they call you the N-word and say white folks are better than you. That's what they come to the country and the way they look at it, that's the best way to go. And then when they get here, after they've been here for a while, they go, oh shit. Oh fuck. It's too late. And you can pretend to be an African if you practice it enough. If you have Austin, if you start walking around New York City with the Kenyan accent and speaking Swahili, how the hell are they gonna know you American?
Yeah.
How they gonna know? If I start speaking Spanish, how you gonna know? I just say, okay, my bloodline does lead to the deal. I just tell you I'm yeah, I know black, man. What you talking about, bro? You're not talking to me. I know black, man.
Well, now we were just talking about the investigation that you've launched into Minneapolis and into St. Paul. I realize the investigation is going to take some time, but what can you tell us about your department's efforts on this and what you've found so far?
Yes, sir, Tony. Thank you. So we have boots on the ground in Minnesota. And through our fraud prevention, we have found that there is likely over $84 million in eligible assistance that was given to the state of Minnesota during the Biden administration, including almost $500,000 in improper assistance to over 500 dead tenants. And so you think about that, Tony, over $84 million of hardworking taxpayer money that was shelled out during the Biden administration in improper assistance and serving over 500 dead people with almost $500,000 of assistance. This is a lack of stewardship. It's gross negligence. But I'm grateful at this time that our team on the ground has found these improper payments, and we will hold those accountable that are responsible for this.
Hey, Secretary Turner, when you look at this combined with what was happening in the daycare, I mean, this looks like it's coordinated. It looks like this is a criminal conspiracy. It doesn't just look like people taking advantage of another government program that doesn't have the proper oversight.
No, it is. It seems like it is coordinated, and, every stone that's being unturned shows us really the negligence and turning a blind eye and the lack of financial controls and really the lack of caring about the American people and taxpayer money that goes to fund these programs in Minnesota and other places around the country. And so I know under President Trump, Attorney General Bondi, the vice president, who now has announced a new associate attorney general to go after fraud, waste, and abuse in our country. I'm so glad that we have this opportunity to be transparent before the American people. And
I think that's
we have some breaking news to share with you on this Tuesday.
This is a good, let me see what he's talking about.
If you've ever wondered why people say Miami tests friendships and Vegas tests relationships, let me tell you about my New Year's Eve last night. 4 of us get ready to go out. I already DM'd the promoter for Vendom, so that way so we can get in, there'll be alcohol, no, wait at the
I could tell this is about to be horrible.
door, everything's all good. We pull up, one of my friends is plus size, and they tell her that she has to pay $300 at the door. We all thought we were gonna have an expense-free night, so no one wanted to pay for the $300 entry fee. We spent over 2 hours trying to figure out if we're going to split it, can she put on her credit card, whether we're just going to leave, go to another club, like literally just doing everything. And we spent over 2 hours plotting and planning and strategizing.
Wait, she's upset because her big friend had to pay and she didn't?
None of them wanted to pay. That's what I understood.
Right, but her big friend had to pay. They could get in for free. She couldn't.
Pull up, one of my friends is plus size, and they tell her that she has to pay $300 at the door.
That's crazy.
And I personally did not want to spend my New Year's Eve sitting on the curb. So I asked my friend, would you be willing for us to pay for your Uber to go back home?
No. Lady, what you're not going to finna do is blame it on Miami. This is not Miami. Because you said, oh, Miami's going to test your friendship. This is not, do not blame.
Shit, it was on mute. I said, I need to find the original video. I don't want to hear their commentary. It's too much. Well, that's all I got so far for politics. James, if you got any other topics you want to touch on, we could pull something else up.
Well, there's people who did want to, come up. They said I'm a Democratic shield. I did want to debate somebody on that, but they're not. Maybe they're trying to say, well, he doesn't have the link out. Put the link out there, and if you think I'm a Democratic shield, come on up. You're going to have a respectable debate, but as soon as you start throwing insults because you're whining like a baby because you're losing, the stream's going to end, and I'm going to bounce. So if you really want to bring it, come on up.
So I think this is a guy I want you to look at because I don't like his topics here. They can be right sometimes, but the majority of the time he's kind of annoying.
Describing white privilege, and you're saying that there's no issue with it.
Haitians claim that they've been the first black country 200 years ago to gain independence. They govern themselves. Where is the privilege in Haiti? Is there any black privilege? Who gives the white the privilege? You said because a large majority of whites hold power, They build the institutions. Okay, but why does it keep attracting people to come here? And no other group of people are ever complaining about the white privilege except black, because they think that they are the bottom of the totem pole, which is not true. Things are done by people, by race, based on your ability. I never believe that one race is superior to the other. I know races are different.
What would this racial stratification be based on? So stratification means different outcomes among different races.
Well, you said different races. Do you expect the same outcome from the lion and the antelope?
You believe in essential qualities and characteristics that certain races have.
Characteristics, abilities, based on where you come from. Simple. The people of the northern rift of Kenya will beat everybody and anybody in marathon. You can't deny that. Since 1936, Carl Owens beat everybody. Scientifically trained Germans were beaten by Carl Owens in 100 meters. And then from there, it was black guy, black guy, black guy. Today, you can't boast that Ali was not the best boxer. He told you he was superior. You want to try to get into the ring with him. Yes, I believe that races and people, we have different structures, because you can't expect the same outcome from the lion and the antelope. You and I are humans. We have different abilities, intellectually, physically. Why are Chinese good in aerobics? Why are Russians very good in ballet and classical dance? Why are blacks very good in very muscular sports? We're different. But if you expose us to one thing and you're using that to determine what is equality, then some people would fail, and that is what you're doing. It's like asking the monkey and the fish to determine that climbing is the only way to determine superiority. Well, the monkey will be superior for the rest of its life. And it's no white privilege. White people live in their country, a place they have been able to build it. There is no question about that, based on their abilities to do things differently.
You're describing white privilege, and you're saying that there's no issue with it.
What do you think about that, James?
I would absolutely love to debate this man, and I would obliterate him on what he just said. I would obliterate him. Point number one, there is no white privilege. Okay? He already said that there's white privilege, because he basically said most white people are in a position of power. And he knows about the racism in the United States. So if most white people are in a position of power and all the racism in the United States, he saw pictures of people smiling next to hanging bodies. He saw the little girl who's trying to walk to school surrounded by military and mounds of white people yelling the N-word to a little girl who just wants to go to school. And just about all of those people, well, I wouldn't say that, but a lot of them are still alive. Ruby Bridges is alive and well, and she's not that old. A lot of those people that were yelling the N-word are alive. One of that main woman with the little dress, and she's got the little black hair, a little curly on the side. You know, she's still alive. She's on her deathbed. You know, she didn't take good care of herself. She's only 79. Actually, I think she's about 82, 83. I think so. I'm not that sure. And he says that, anyone can come to America. And the reason why these people are successful, you can become successful, basically saying there's nothing holding black people back from succeeding in the United States. Okay. He knows that we can't just get loans like he could when he came to America. Okay. They don't want us to get loans. They're not just going to give us loans. Okay. Why do you think the credit bureau was created in the first place?
Right.
Okay. You really think white people got to worry about the credit bureau? If you think that, you don't know what's going on at all. That's for us. And that's why when we make miss one bill, my credit score is 820. If I miss a bill and it gets reported, it goes to like 675 or something like that. I've seen it, and it's funny as hell.
Yeah.
Guys, you have to understand the racial dynamics in the United States. All the history books will show you clear as day that it was designed for white people to benefit and white people only. And to maintain that, you have to keep black people back, because we keep coming up and doing well and succeeding and growing and prospering. So you have to stop us at the same time. But that becomes complicated. Okay, so what do you got to do? You have to get us fighting from within. Okay, so you got to make sure you build an infrastructure around us so that it makes it almost impossible for us to succeed. And they have to do it in plain sight so that people on the outside, even though how hard they look, they won't really see it. And when they can see it, what they do is they turn around real slow and look at the white folks and say, I'm good. I ain't gonna say nothing. Can I go back and enjoy the gas station I just bought with that $250,000 loan you gave me? Okay. That based on paper, there are so many black people in the United States that qualify to get that 200. I think now you have to have, it jumps up. Now it's around $450,000 just to open your own gas station. And you'd wonder if all you got to do is get a loan, open up a gas station, get the rule book on how to run it, and now you got just your own gas station on a block. You own your own 7-Eleven. Your own Wendy's, your own Starbucks. And why do you think a bunch of foreigners have that? They're getting the loans and we're not. And they said, because we don't qualify. I was like, what are the qualifications? You even know? And then you ask people that, you say, oh, I don't really know the qualifications. And why are you saying most of us don't qualify then?
Yeah, you know.
Go ahead.
Somebody says, bro, there's nothing holding us back. Sounds like a bunch of excuses. Hey, I will attest to what James has said. Like, no matter what the hell I've done, I have never been able to get approved for like credit, like ever. I've had 2 barbershops. I've never been able to. I have credit cards. Like, yeah, like my credit cards are like $300 limits. Like it might as well not even have them. It's been like that since 2019. So there's definitely something there's something to that. You know, I don't want to say that it's that because I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses, but at the same time, like yeah, like that shit, like I literally paid like everything that you've seen me do, I had to pay for. Like I have not had any help like with credit. Like this shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Literally, you were in my group chat, James, last year when I started making some more money, and I said I'm gonna pay this car off. I paid that car off. The payments didn't add, and of course, I know when you finish the loan, it drops because you got one less loan in your credit. But like that shit, I was like, shit, maybe I should have just kept paying the payments. It didn't make a difference.
Exactly. Now I tell people this. When I came to the United States, when I got back to the United States, y'all know I'm living here and I'll be here for about a year. And then I'll probably do my retirement in Thailand. I ain't tell you that. Probably is an easier move for me. What country I want to retire in is Thailand. Seems like it more feasible. Been talking to a lot of people out there, and makes more sense than some other countries. The only other country makes more sense is Germany. But Germany is very, very easy for me to retire to. Easier than Thailand, being honest. But I'd rather go to Thailand. I have my reason. But anyway, I tell people when I got back to the United States, when I was getting for buy a car, I just walked on a lot and just bought it. And they were like, oh, well, they kept asking me about, what bank do you want to use, for your loan? I was like, no, I'm not using a loan. I'm gonna buy it. I had to tell 4 of them that because they couldn't believe it. And I'm like, people buy cars all the time. And he's like, this dude from, he was actually from Nigeria. He was doing a car deal. He was just weird as hell. He was cool as hell though. But anyway, he was like, no, most people, they don't buy. They're not used to it. You surprise them. They're not used to it. And he was saying, in Nigeria, you have to buy your car. You have to buy it. There is no credit in Nigeria, so you're like the Nigerians, He started laughing. Like, you're like the Nigerians. Because if you want a car, you have to buy a car. And I go, well, I believe in that. And then people say, well, how long is it going to take you to buy a car? I said, I got you. That's the catch me. We already understand that you're forced to need things that hurt you. And they know they're doing it like that. They do it that way on purpose. Okay? They do it that way on purpose. There's a lot of, they have the big farmer companies that do all this, even though it'll be much better if you broke it all up, which the United States has the power to do. They can force a company to break up so that smaller companies can be put in all different kinds of cities and states and everywhere. That's the cities and states, and put it in all big cities so that more people can have jobs. Okay, that's a job creator right there. But they're not going to do that because this works better for them. They like it better this way. Okay, they like it better this way. Even though if you really do the math, they actually works out better for the state. They have more people working. You don't want a bunch of people not working in your state. You don't want that for a whole host of reasons. Man, Austin, we could spend about a month straight going live every day on why that would be bad. But you
doing what?
Talking about why it's better to break up these big countries and big businesses and force them to have smaller companies selling this business, making these clothes, making these watches, or these farms and everything, working on a farm so that more people can have jobs in each city. That's the big job creator right there, attacking these business companies. You know how many jobs you're sending overseas. You know how easy it is to attack these big companies and force them to bring jobs back to America. If there's any president who could have done that, it's Donald Trump right now. That dude's got more power than any president in the history of the country. Do y'all realize that? There has never been a president that has power like this. Never. And some people say, Obama didn't do nothing. He said, you think Obama didn't have the fraction of power that Trump has right now? He's just smarter and better. Obama had so many people holding onto his arms, stopping him from doing what he wanted to do. It's not even funny. If you want proof of that, study Obama. Read the Obama library of books. Or just scheme through them. Okay? Scheme through them. Okay, Travel Boji, come on up on a podcast. I love it when you guys sit in the chat and just say, you don't know what you're talking about. That's a lie. And prove nothing. You gotta, if I'm wrong about something, I ain't the smartest dude in the world, man. If I'm wrong about something, you gotta prove it. Don't just say you're wrong and you're lying and then run away. Bring your ass.
I just got a notification from AP. They said that the Clintons are refusing to testify in the Epstein case.
Well, I think Bill did something. I believe that, and I will give you that. Travel. FDR did have a lot of power too. FDR had a lot of power, but I think Trump had more than FDR. FDR had way more respect than Trump, and I think FDR probably could have got. I think if FDR was president today, it would be very different. Remove Trump, think Trump doesn't exist, and FDR ran for president. A man like that being president in these times would be very good for us in so many ways. But as far as that kind of power, FDR would not have sought and made the moves that Trump did to gain the power that he had. He wouldn't have attacked the Supreme Court. He would have made sure that there's equal powers, like a lot of presidents there, like Obama. Allow equal powers so that you can't just say, I'm more powerful. He doesn't need to do that. I want to sit down, bring everybody to the table. Give you power. Here, you have power, I have power, we all have equal power. Sit down to the table, let's have a conversation about it. But what Obama failed to understand is a lot of those people that he allowed to have got to the table just wanted him to fail, period. And now he knows why. This dude always just, what are you talking about? I was like, dude, just post something in the chat to let us know a better side of what you got to say.
Hey, can I say something to Austin, man?
Go for it, man.
Yeah. Hey, Austin, it's a pleasure for me to be on your show, man. But I got to address something. I'm going off topic here. There's a YouTuber out there by the name of LTTV. This guy is really talking greasy smack. He's trying to put their hurt on you, Austin. Saying things like, you're going over to Africa to grift people. You're there to I don't know, like what's that word I should say? Exploit women and all that. Like, he's going off on you, Austin. I think you really got to get on this guy, man. You know what I mean? You got to rebound, Austin. Like, this guy is putting a bad image on you, man.
Yeah, he's been doing that for a while. I don't worry about that guy. I don't even talk about trolls. It's inevitable at this point. I appreciate it, but yeah, no, those guys.
Like
Yeah,
this guy's seriously like bad mouthing you, man. Like you know what I mean? Like I think you gotta get up on him, man. Like I know you want to ignore him, but man, he's like building a huge audience to rally against you or something, man.
that's fine.
All right, just I just wanted to put that out for you, Austin. Because I think, in my personal opinion, you're doing a great job in Africa, man. You're doing a great job showcasing Africa to the FBA or to the Black American community. You're doing a damn good job, man. And I've been watching you for a good 5 years or so, man. And I don't see anything wrong with you, Austin. But you got your haters out there, man, just hating on you for no reason because maybe they want to be like you. You know what I mean? They see that you're getting all these attention, you're building up your reputation, you're making dollars, man. That's what it is, man. I think this LTTV guy, whatever the hell he is, he's a Jamaican guy living in Canada or something. Man, he hated, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. But yeah, he can continue.
But anyways, Austin, I'm gonna get off, man. You do your thing, man. Keep on go around the road, whatever the hell you want. I mean, yeah, man. You're doing good, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Austin, by the way, when I pulled it up, I was watching TV and I just pulled subscriptions. I felt like while I was eating, watching some YouTube. And that's when I found out you was it said that when I pulled it up on TV, it said that you had 142,000 watching. And then say subscribe said watching. I was like, damn.
Bots. They send in bots.
Yeah, I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's just YouTube got to get a hold on that. And I don't think it is because I don't think it hurts YouTube. It just hurts people who have channels on YouTube. It doesn't hurt YouTube. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't. Hey, check out this other video. I see you since you said you wanted to debate him.
I say something like, no black nation or black country would ever develop or industrialize itself. People say that's controversial. What don't you agree with? What I'm describing is true. It's there. Africans are saying colonization is the reason the only black continent in the world is not developing. So if I say something like, no black nation or black country would ever develop or industrialize itself, people say that's controversial. What don't you agree with? What I'm describing is true. It's there. Africans are saying colonization is the reason the only black continent in the world is not developing. So if I say something like, no black nation or black country would ever develop or industrialize itself, people say that's controversial. What don't you agree with? What I'm describing is true. It's there. Africans are saying colonization is the reason the only black continent in the world is not developing. So if I say something like, no black nation or black country would ever develop or industrialize itself, people say that's controversial. What don't you agree with? What I'm describing is true. It's there. Africans are saying colonization is the reason the only black continent in the world is not developing. So if I say something like, no black nation or black country would ever develop or industrialize itself, people say that's controversial. What don't you agree?
That one isn't too important. Let me see. It's not what I thought it would be.
That was just self-hate right there. I mean, he knows this. He knows how much people would attack him on that. That's off the wall.
Let's see, because he has some things he says. He says a lot of wild shit.
Does he know that at one point, basically, Africa was the whole continent was literally, I mean, they was just fighting. The Europeans were fighting wars on African land. The whole continent was basically Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not, it was just, all they was doing was just being colonized. They couldn't do nothing. Why? Because they developed war skills, war weapons, war tactics. Why a lot of African countries were not. I mean, they had war tactics, but not on that level, because the Europeans were going at it on another level, and they brought what they learned, and just there were people. A lot of these African countries, they weren't ready for that. They didn't know what hit them. They didn't know how to handle that. They just didn't know.
Yeah, let me see one last video, and then after this, I'm gonna sign out.
You are not there. What? A fan sent me a question in my DM, and the question is if I believe Trump's election victory will bring an end to identity politics in America, or what is the future of identity politics in America. Many of us have been lied to, both men and women, but most specifically, African Americans. And why they easily buy into it, I am not sure. But I think this election cycle in America, if it has not opened your eyes, please open your own eyes. It may signal the end of identity politics in America. Go through the history of the United States, especially to do with African Americans, and ask yourself, which party in this country really has pushed and promoted division of blacks? And they will tell you which party it is. I'm not going to say the name, you know it yourself. However, for me, there is one thing I always respect. When I am being treated as if though the person has respect for me, and he says, I believe you can stand on your own, then I feel good about that. Than somebody telling me constantly that my life is in danger and he or she is the one who has the solution for that. It has been too long that the Democratic Party have used fear-mongering, especially on black people. Every election cycle, you hear it every 4 years. They tell grown black men and women how their lives will not be good in America unless they vote Democrat and somebody who get into the office and take care of their lives, and it's not true at all. Has never been true in any way. America is an individual activity culture. If you come from a background where you come from an extended family system type where people rely on people and rely on government for things to work, you start struggling immediately you arrive in America. And therefore, seemingly that somebody is cranking up a system to hold you down is not true in any shape or form. 2025 is coming. A new administration, a new wave. What happened on November 5th is more than just simply the result of a political campaign and election. No, it spoke more deeply to us about what the culture of this country needs to be. Blacks, you're not going to get more food on your table or free housing just because Democrats are in office. And if it does happen, you are insistent that people should look down upon you, because everybody is beginning to believe that Black Americans are only crying for handout, which I don't believe. But the only way you can prove this is for you to begin to speak against identity politics. Any party from today or from 2028, any politician, any political party that campaigns and begin to talk specifically about black vote, reject it. You are not there to be bought. You are not there to be bought. A fan sent me a question.
All right. So that's the last video for today. Fuck it.
I'm gonna break something down, and I'm just gonna simplify it on Brook Hall. Okay. I was 3 years old when the KKK last did a openly big march in North Carolina, 1979, November 1979, in Greensboro. One of the largest marches was only 1925. I think almost 70,000 Ku Klux Klan members marched down Pennsylvania Avenue. And by the way, that march in Greensboro, that was called the Greensboro Massacre. It wasn't exactly a march. You know, 5 people died, but it's still a massacre because, you know, you're talking about Americans. And when some people say only 5 people died, what if one of them were you? You got to step back and look at the big picture. And something I'm gonna leave y'all with. This is, you know, I want y'all to get something. And I broke this down for you before, Austin. I just want to preach it again. Every single person in this room, you got your health, you're very wealthy. And if you think you're not, if I took your arms, your legs, your eyes, your tongue, you know, plucked your eyes out, and then I offered you $100 billion. And I said, I can give you this $100 billion, or I can give you all your shit back. Which one would you take? Austin, which one would you take?
Let's go with all my shit back.
That just made you $100 billion wealthier. I just did it. Now, some people say, well, it's not real. I was like, the scenario is still real. Why? You took that, and here you are. If you can't see it, then your imagination is not that well. And if you want to appreciate life, do that for yourself. That's what I do. I gave that to myself so that I can appreciate life, which is why I care so much about people who probably should just be punched in the face. I try to reach out to people, you know, but I ain't no punk, you know. I'll throw you off a roof, same as anybody else if you cut me wrong, and smile at you when you hit the ground. All right, I'm still from the hood, and I still see the world the way it is. But you do that, you'll just say, now, and some people do that, say you was in prison with your arms and your eyes and then throw them for like 20 years. And then boom, you decide to say, I want it all back. I don't want the $100 billion. You be running around the world happy as hell with nothing, but you be the happiest son of a bitch on the planet. That's it. Yes, I do have a channel. All right. I actually changed it. It's literally my name now. And exactly how it's read, I don't know because I changed it today, but I will show you right now. It is called James Humbert World Traveler JDH. All right. I'll put it in the chat exactly the way it is. This is my channel. There is some stuff on it, and I literally talk about all the stuff that actually it just could already pops up. I didn't think it was gonna pop up, but there it is. Did you see I got a little star support my man's channel? But yeah, that's it on there. I'm gonna put some new stuff on it because I just bought. I tell you, I just bought that the 360, the 8K 360. So I'm gonna do some 360s out here in Vegas. And I already talked to some really fun places that, you know, and they said they're not gonna mind me, you know, you can go to a restaurant, talk about the food, putting a little 360 camera on the table, it's all good. So I'll be doing little stuff like that. Because I'm not built to just going around asking people questions and stuff like that. And, you know, so I'll just be doing a lot of you know, just, you know, posting up videos and stuff like that. So come down, see what I got. Actually, I didn't change it 5 times. I changed it 3 times. Boy, people be exaggerating like a motherfucker, man. Y'all be upset with me, man. But let me go get some work done. I got a lot of paperwork I gotta do. So I'm gonna holler at y'all. Y'all take care and enjoy your work week.
Yes, sir. You as well.
Yes, sir.
All right. Appreciate you today.
Appreciate you, bro.